All right, so I guess I think I want to tell the story of the first beer that I ever had. Um, so I was in India on a school trip with like 10 of my friends, and we were in the last portion, like the last 4 days of the trip, which was sort of like the R&R phase where we got to like do sightseeing and touristy things. Like before then, we had been in the mountains hiking or like on a service trip, so it was all like very intense and like kind of stressful before that. And during that point, we had decided that like once we get to like the relaxing part of the trip, we were just gonna all sit down and have a beer together. So one day we were in Jaipur, which is in the north of India, and one thing to know about that part of India is there's a lot of really old castles that have turned into hotels. So one of the hotels we were staying in was one of those castles, and it was just absolutely gorgeous. So we all decided that this was probably like the best place to sit down and have a beer. So like that night we sort of gathered and we're gonna go to the bar, and then we look into the bar and see like a chem teacher and a librarian who were the two chaperones of the trip just sort of sitting in the bar. And like they didn't have a problem with us drinking, they just sort of told us that they didn't want to be there when it happened, I guess, so they could have like some sort of like plausible deniability, I guess. So then we were sort of like phased. We didn't really know what to do. We were all kind of shook. And we were like, okay, who's gonna go in and like ask them to leave? But no one wanted to be the person to like walk up to your librarian and be like, hey, Miss Collins, can you like go away so we can drink? But then like from the corner of the room, like the quietest kid on the trip was just like, I'll do it. And we were like, oh, okay. So he just sort of walked in there, and like, I don't know what we were expecting, but he just sort of walked in there, talked to them, turned around, came back and was like, yeah, they're gonna go to bed now. And so we then like walked into the bar room after they left, like sat down in this gorgeous like courtyard type thing, and like had our first beer. And so I'll always be forever grateful to Matt Zola because of him I was able to have my first beer in a palace. Yeah, so that's my story.